Yes, sir. Daredevil, episode 4. Born again, born twice, 3 times, cuatro veces. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we pick up pretty much where we left off last week. Remember, last week, the big flashy moment of last week's cliffhanger episode. One 9mm straight to the side of the dome, to the left side actually, boom. But the kicker, no evidence. No leftover casings, no leftover bullet, no noticeable discriminations. And but we do know one thing. And I noticed the last episode, but I didn't want to say anything. Tattoo Punisher necks from the police officers. We'll get into that later. But man, yeah, you're starting off on an interesting note because we spent the past 3 episodes trying to make this guy okay, safe, secured. And for the grand finale, the climactic ending to be a blast to the dome is a pretty loud statement. So where Disney is going with that and how things are happening, I think hits, but something that kind of like hit me differently, I guess, it was when the niece came up and she's like, yo, I want to see my uncle. Obviously, no young one should have to see that type of result when it comes to the way we end this journey in life. So they do not show her, she cannot see, but something about like I guess like the delivery, and this is like no hate on the little one. I'm pretty sure she's trying, she's a new actress or something. She's getting in there, she's having fun. But yeah, something about that delivery kind of like made it feel a little too much. It felt less impactful and more of a, oh no, this is gonna smack. Let's get this done. So I mean, I will start to say that if the writing is there, it's already been done, it's already been filmed, then we'll have to see how this kind of escalates and how they balance that sense of reality with a sense of like, ah shit, how is this actually happening? Why are people like this? And we'll have to see. I think there's an easy fine line to walk as long as we don't go too over into the campy territory where we go like, mi tío, mi primo, no, Dios mío. Then yeah, I think we'll be fine. But I mean, it is pretty emotional, and like it does suck for me. At least I kind of saw that and I just felt a certain way about it. But it's cool to see that there is at least some type of response to like, whoa man, come on, we just had this guy for like 2 weeks. What's going on? Like, why are we like this? But unfortunately, that is the way things are. In the court of law, we leave with a mysterious masked man carrying a body. Man with a little bit of a bloodshot. I call him bloodshot because of bloodshot eyes. We have a analysis in the background. Apparently he's called Muse. But we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, scary stuff. We'll have to build up into that. However, we get a little glimpse of this, the private life of a professional kiss ass. As in, Wilson Fisk, professional ass licker, is out there partying, hanging out with BB Channel Girl. They're getting shots, she's getting him drunk, and he kind of like says a couple things off the record, but like without saying off the record, so then that means it's open season for the record BB Girl. And yeah, that's bad news. We'll get into that one later as well. Drinks, people. Pace yourself. Know where you're there. Know who your friends are. And yes, finally, as Party Boy is leaving the club venue, we see a nice graffiti wall art of White Tiger. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. And that is all the opening pleasantries for this episode. We go forward, we start things one step at a time. Number 1, Matt takes on a new case. Very pro bono, as in he's defending a homeless guy. And yeah, we get to see another spectrum into the life of an, let's call it, average citizen of New York. And unfortunately, this certain citizen has been arrested. He has been tried under the case of petty theft, le petit, French for tiny, little. And unfortunately, this homeless man does not have many options and or support, as is very apparent why this young gentleman, despite his phlegonic temper and his refusal to actually shut the fuck up and try to understand, we feel something, right? You know, we feel, if not for this gentleman who's having a rough time, at the very least we feel something for Matt, who legit just busted his ass, like, you know, had to do some kung fu shit to try to get this witness to safety. All for the system, i.e. the people who are fancy themselves in charge of said system, decided that a bullet to the head was what justice needed. And, well, if you don't feel anything from that, well, let's just hope you never get arrested. and you're not on the spectrum of colors. But, right, we start our life here. Try to understand this guy. For the most part, he is pretty fucking annoying. And for the most part, anyone would look at his record and be like, dude, you fucked up. You've been fucking up. So the point of contestment where it's like, nah, give him a chance. Matt being like, oh, please, this person that like is in charge of like the verdictings, can we do this? Can we do this? Come on, man, this guy's blah, blah, blah. Really trying, which shows integrity. Again, we like to say on this beautiful day, how you do anything is how you do everything. And to see a man of his ability really do what he can just for someone he knows that will ultimately not appreciate what the work that is being put in, but still tries. Goes down from 35 days, because apparently the law states that if you keep on fucking up, they keep on raising the time that they put you inside behind bars. So that is what everybody wants for this popcorn stealing gentleman who unfortunately has to eat from dumpsters henceforth. Popcorn time. But it's incredible because he does his thing. He talks. He mentions Leviathan, which is they're apparently celebrating national. I'm gonna butcher your name, but Leviathan Day, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the race that Doctor Doom is over in his little country. So if they're like sprinkling Doctor Doom lore in this moment, all right, pretty fucking based. But yeah, he talks to the nice lady and he's like, yo, pretty cute lady. He's like, yo, can we make this happen? Because, you know, this guy stole a box of popcorn and he just really needs some time to think about it. Bless her heart, she does the job. She gives him the leeway. 10 days. 35 days down to 10. That's a fucking good lawyer. But what does that mean when the system is already skewed to begin with? Because we jump back, we do the thing. And the guy gives him his shtick, you know, we brushed upon it, but nice niece. But we kind of really get into his backstory as to how did someone get to this point. That, in my opinion, being the important part. Because say what you will, you know, people go through life, things happen, and shit pops up, and we will not expect it, but you just gotta figure out what you can do and what your abilities are and how you can overcome these moments with your skill sets. But shit's hard, right? And unfortunately, depending on certain government programs, there's a lot of people out there who depend on government programs. And it's not my place to say whether they necessarily need it or don't need it, or they had choices to, you know, to grow above it, or even if, like, by them getting these benefits that they are being stifled, i.e., pacifized to not incentivize them to do better. It's just thoughts, right? But shit sucks, man. Shit pretty much sucks, especially when you feel like you don't really have many other options, and the government themselves decides to go say, nah, man, you ain't worth the time, you ain't worth the effort. And unfortunately, you know, we go through this gentleman's history and we see how things have not been there for him. Maybe has not had the best starting opportunity. I think starting opportunities really give you an idea of how far you can realistically go, and then only those who dream beyond those limits can overcome said gates. But man, it's rough. Yeah, just thinking about how you just do one bad thing and things kind of start snowballing from there, and it could be hard to just not get out of that rut. I don't wish people or anybody to go through that cycle, but it's just when you're in that cycle, what does one do? How much metal does one have to bring forward to find any solution to that moment? Or is it too late? Leave that one for the rest of the generations. But maybe it's not too late for Wilson Fisk and his wife's marriage, because we jump over to therapy session. Oh, baby. Yep, Fisk, wife affair. TLDR, we ask ourselves, why did this happen? Why did you necessarily feel a need to embrace another soul when you hypothetically had marriage to a soul? And we talk, we think about it. Wife goes like, yo man, you left, you betrayed me first. And as we get deeper into it, we come to realize, therapist asks the good questions, and we come to realize that she's a daddy's girl, but that just means that she has abandonment issues, and she remembers her father always leaving to trips and leaving her behind, giving her this sense of like, oh, I need to become better or something. So when Fisk leaves her, she I guess finds comfort in another man's arms, because she feels like her papacito Wilson Fisk took off and did not love her enough. So again, communication. It's not that fucking hard. At least I imagine if you're gonna marry someone, you should at least fucking talk to them at least once a day about important things, not just bullshit weather topics, you know. But I digress. I'm not married. Anyways, having this conversation, or talking, you know, counselor lady, i.e. Matt Murdock's girlfriend, starts noticing that Vanessa is kind of like holding back certain things, certain thoughts, certain statements. And when the question of where is Adam rises up, they both unanimously respond, I don't know. Leading to therapists to believe that they do, in fact, might know. So, one last thing before she leaves, the wife, therapist asks the wife to step in and ask her a serious question. Do you feel safe in your marriage? wife later responds yes. And that's a funny one because she actually responds, no, my husband cannot hurt me. Which, in case you haven't noticed, pain isn't necessarily a physical thing. But this lady, I'm not sure if she responded from like a position of pride. Like, I get the feeling that she said, no, I will not allow myself to be hurt by my husband, rather than saying that my husband would not hurt me, because I think they both know that something is wrong. But again, that's not my marriage, so I'm not gonna dwell too into it. All I will say, that's a little scary, and I wouldn't want to be in a relationship where I can't believe in the faith that we have placed together in our vows and or our lives, like our day-to-day life situations, or what the life we have built together and what that means for us, and what that effort and group amount of like participation has done, and what that is worth. But hey, moving on. Good lawyer, good stuff. And but as we jump back to Matt, we see the police officer who was testified against White Tiger. And while Matt tries to rattle the guy by kind of like, oh yeah, you had to kill him, didn't you? Like, you couldn't just lose your you couldn't just like accept the verdict. You actually had to go out and blast him in the head. Which, dangerous, playing a dangerous game, but I kind of get it, man. There's moments when you just give up on just like pleasantries and you're like, ah, fuck this, I need answers now. And admittedly, that is more of a emotional approach. But sometimes, man, sometimes you just gotta go, fuck it. I know what you did. Even though the cop goes like, I didn't do it. And he didn't do it. Surprise, spoilers, he didn't do it. So we'll have to see that one. So that is a bit of a stickler. It's a little scary because Matt goes like, oh, this ain't over, man. And the cop goes like, yeah, no shit, we got guns and badges. you got a cane and sunglasses, kid. Like, you need to reevaluate yourself real quick. But that's already setting up a moment for the future, and we'll have to deal with that later. Hopefully we'll make it out okay. Because Wilson Fisk is allergic to red tape, right? Gentleman, cop guy says, we're all knuckleheads, but they good cops. And then he threatens Matt about the bar, like, knowing about witness tampering and stuff. That I believe they're on to Matt that he sent somebody to protect the witness, i.e. Matt went as Daredevil to punch out the other cops. But they don't know that yet, so we'll have to wait and see how that ends up developing interestingly so. However, man, allergic to red tape, Wilson Fisk, out there making names. The kids, they built this city. That's right. Fisk wants to demolish the port, right? So you have this port in New York that is like has bad reputation. So Fisk wants to destroy the whole area and renovate it and make new ports, which is a good idea. But then you gotta ask yourself, who's he making them for? Because as he's getting really emotional about this planning project, obviously the city councilwoman, the one who is his right aide or whatever, knows the logistics of things. You can't just say, oh, I want a bathtub, and then demand that the bathtub, gets created in the city. You have to follow regulations, rules, construction permits, all this shit. And while we do these things for specific reasons, we can also express that these things are in the way for specific reasons. However, a person who is used to buying their way through anything, i.e. a person who has no value to give, but rather has invested in wasting everyone else's value will demand the simplest, the most complex with the simplest return, i.e. they want it now because they're used to just buying shit up because it's a product. But here's the thing, bitches. Products are meant to be sold. Ideas, dreams, and motivations, that comes from within. You can't fucking buy that shit unless you find someone who's willing to bend their back, break their back, i.e. Party Boy, who in the beginning of the episode goes like, oh, I fucking love Fisk, I fucking love him, man, which take that how you will. I took that very seriously, but let's see. But we will have to wait and see because, again, BB, being BB, trying to get the news, trying to take Fisk down, goes to the news reports and posts up something about, I'm not really too sure, but something about like, they talk about the economics of like the garbage and all that stuff, and I think they fired a lot of garbage people and now they have garbage on the streets and blah, 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 blah. So he spilled the beans, and now BB reported on that. Fisk, furious. He's like, oof, oof, things are bad, oof, I pay you all to make me look good, oof, oh, I'm gonna find this person. And to his credit, Party Boy goes like, it was me, Bubba. Sorry, it was me, Fisk. Like, I did it. And then he goes on a fucking little ass-kissing tyrant, and he gets the job done. He's really good at ass-kissing because he keeps his job. Whisk is salty at him, but he doesn't fire him. Instead, he just tells me, listen, Daniel, if you ever do this again, it'll be the last thing you do. And yeah, that's pretty much all there really is to it. So, man, again, how you do anything is how you do everything. Even if you're gonna pretend that like, ooh, we're the good guys, and like, you know, you're gonna be all lovey-dovey or something bad happens and you'll be like, oh no, it's okay, I love you, you're okay. But put a person in a pressure chamber, right? Any pressurized situation, and you watch that mask peel away and you have to see the person, how they are, how they react, and that tells you what kind of person they are. So that's all I really need to say about that. But Fisk, freaking, never mind, a very motivated, motivated by his ass kissing, and he decides not to fire anybody, but definitely puts some kind of a stressor on him, right? All that stress has to go somewhere. We talked about this. You can't just mask your anger because it will eat up at you over time. So, again, Doom Day, Doom Heritage Day, we might be getting references to Dr. Doom. But yeah, so this thing goes up, people are fucking like tripping out. Yo, Mayor Fisk is trash. You get a BB report, one of those like commercial, or one of those like city beat videos, and it's like, man, how are we supposed to believe in this fucker saying that he's gonna keep his promises when he can't even fucking pick up the trash and like he's just fucking things up and all that. So it's crazy how very parallel this is to other non-fiction. Dangerously. It's crazy. But a little motorcycle. But yeah, Party Boy does the Eminem. He's like, oh, no man, it was me. I did it. And I'm the worst and I'm the blah blah blah, and you can fire me and blah 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 blah. And basically does the Eminem from 8 Mile, where he's like says on negative Sif out the window, and he's like, but I do this. And yeah, pretty much. So pretty much promises made, lies kept, and that's the type of That's the type of a system that we're running here under Mayor Fisk. Will it hold? Will it hold? Can a house divided stand? Read a book sometime. Last part of the day. Matt Murdock. Anxious, terrorized, salty about the day. Lots of heads, lots of thoughts going through. Decides to visit the scene one last time. Yep. Unable to let go of it, Murdock visits the crime scene for White Tiger's final moment. And as we're surveying the area, he does this super cool supernatural hearing where he essentially drops a glass bottle, and through the trajectory of the glass bottle, you see how it goes in a certain direction, lands inside a gutter. Big brain. Inside that gutter, we find the empty shell casing of the bullet. And once you know it, on that bullet, just like on the neck of the cops that were at the jury, you find a Punisher skull logo on that. It's time to talk to Frank. That's what he does. First, we get like a little interaction with Fisk and his wife. The final. Okay, we'll go back to Frank. So yeah, we go find the Frank man, the Punisher. And he finds him. He finds him in this little fucking cave. He goes like, sniff, sniff. I hear you, Frank. Fucking Punisher blasts out of nowhere. Pins Red to the wall. And yeah, a weird moment. Again, like, I feel like this is the one episode that we might be losing steam on this. I don't know. Maybe we had a writer really get crazy with the court case drama, and now we had a different writer start doing the comic booky stuff. But I just feel like this episode was a little bit rushed. I don't know if I'm able to say that, but that's what I'm gonna say. Because although I liked the Frank Castle interaction, right? We get a cool little interaction of the minds of those two and how they're operating, and Punisher just kind of like essentially going like, listen, dude, you think you're depressed because your friend died and you can't do the things that you want to do anymore because you feel like that will disgrace his memory or whatever. But you know for a fact that every single fucking day you sit there, you lie there, you stand there without doing the work that needs to be done, that you're dishonoring your homie. Whew. Goddamn. I felt that one. And so did Matt Murdock, because out of almost pure instinct, Frank gets a little too close. I get it. He does that sometimes. But out of pure instinct, again, Matt Murdock just backhands him. And yeah, he gets him in the face. And but yeah, it's like a quick second of like anger to show you that he does still hold it against himself. Foggy's death, he feels, could have been preventable, and maybe by not being Daredevil, hopefully he can keep other people around him alive. But is that really working when Matt Murdock trying his best in the court stand, grandstanding, results in a hero getting blasted in the head? So, there's a lot of conflicting ideals here. I'm not saying anybody's right, I'm not saying anybody's wrong. Frank says, listen, kid, you hear that shit, you hear Foggy's voice, man. Well, I hear my son. My son tells me to fuck him up. So that's what I'm gonna do. And realistically, coming from one man to another, coming from a man who has had to raise kids even though they're not mine, yeah, that sounds about right. But hey, let's jump in with one last marital session. Wilson Fisk and his wife having dinner? Question mark? I forgot what they were doing. They were just sitting at a table talking or something like that. And Fisk trying to show compassion, trying to be the gentle giant that he thinks he is. Opens up to Vanessa, and he's like, Vanessa, Vanessa. TLDR, this guy comes from business. Fisk watched his father make deals, watched his father make sales, watched his father become a powerhouse through money. And unfortunately, because money was more valuable than Fisk himself, right? His own son was worth less than the time that he could have been using to make money. I get the feeling that we get this skewed sense of value from Fisk, where money, value, power, cough, cough, Fisk, is all these people understand, because it's all their leading household members wanted over a family, over the children, over relationships. All they saw for was business deals, money, rates. And that's maybe the only way they know how to find happiness, through growing numbers. And again, I love math, but I only need to count the people in my life that love me as much as I love them. So there's value. But hey, that is what happens when we find Bloodshot Man one last time, hanging out in his little secret lair, doing nasty stuff with nasty people. I don't want to talk about it. But giving us a quick idea of what's to happen. Fisk, finally done talking to his wife, goes to a super secret man cave. It's brand new, state of the art. Just bought it. Whips out his like a pasta sausage dinner. It's a lot of sausages, son, but fair enough. He's a pretty big kid. Starts chowing down. Watches his favorite new pet rattle in his cage. Adam, his wife's ex-fling, locked up in a jail cell in the basement, wherever the fuck they are, screaming, mistreated, probably malnourished. I think that was the whole shtick, that he was eating in front of him so he can like make the other guy feel hungry. So pretty fucking diabolical. And this, to Fisk, as he tells his wife, is him coming to understand forgiveness. So, with that one, we leave the note on the mayor of New York City torturing his wife's boyfriend, TLDR. But, man, that is it. A whole new episode, a whole new day. Man. I know the better. I'm still interested in what we're doing and where we're going here. I do think that a lot of the topics we're hitting are still pretty on point, and we're building off of older footnotes in past episodes. That I like. However, this episode I think did feel the most jarring. And obviously it's only been four episodes, only been 3 weeks, 4 episodes. But I feel like this week has been the most jarring in terms of, I feel like we had a plan and we were gonna do something with that. Maybe people were excited that there was gonna be a superhero team up between Tiger and Daredevil. But you know, hitting that hard stop and then making this reevaluation did feel weird. It was a weird transition, especially with the niece that we've never seen before randomly popping up and not necessarily giving the best delivery there. But I'm gonna choose to let it slide because I feel like if we're, obviously what we're starting with is a starting point, but the fact that chaos is now getting in the way of the positivity, that becomes the new challenge. So I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let them do their thing for now, and I'm expecting that we're gonna start picking things up. The other thing I will talk about is that Punisher introduction was a little bit also rushed and weird. I didn't really vibe with that as much, especially with just how great of a character John Bernthal as Punisher is. But again, I'll let that slide because it feels like we're just getting ready for future plot points. So with that being said, I'm still looking forward to this. A little iffy about what new direction we're gonna take, but it's okay. I think we're still on the right page of what we want to do here. So hopefully it keeps that vibe, keeps it going, and it keeps it fun. And I really hope that people are still watching within the next couple of weeks, and that we learn something, that we think about it. And Wilson Fisk, if you're out there watching, just think about things, man. Just think about it. But hey, till then, if you like that, if you enjoyed any of that, leave a cool like. And I hope to see you again next time. It's been your boy, EXP 626 Stitch. Wishing you buenos dias, buenas tardes, and an awesome mañana. Be born again. I'm going to the gym. Ja. Matane.